Everything you need to get set for investing in the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange this week, straight from the city of Dar es Salaam. Good morning. This is A Trader DSE Weekly Update. We appreciate your tuning in, and let's get straight into it. Starting off with company news. Now, last week, NMB Bank released its unaudited first quarter financial results of 2022, meaning from January all the way until March 2022. Now, here are the quick highlights. We noticed a quarterly increase in the bank's assets, profit after tax, as well as profit margins, which are all pretty good indicators for the bank's performance for the first 3 months of 2022. Now, last week, CRDB Bank also released its unaudited first quarter financial results of 2022. Now, the bank had an increase in assets all the way up to 9.4 trillion Tanzanian shillings, putting it as the commercial bank with the largest asset base in Tanzania as of March 2022. That's quite impressive. Now, the Greens this time around have lagged behind the Blues, as in NMB has lagged behind, CRDB has lagged behind NMB in terms of its profit margins and profit after tax. Now, the DSE had also released its unaudited first quarter financial results of 2022, and we noticed a 74.3% increase in transaction fees in this quarter, which translates to an increase in the exchange transactions for the first 3 months of 2022. So this seems like investors have really become more active this time around. The Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange also issued a notice of its 7th annual general meeting, which is to take place on 18th March 2022, which will be on a Wednesday. Now, the location will be the DSE offices in Kambarage House in Dar es Salaam, but shareholders are also encouraged to attend online through Zoom video conferencing at 9 a.m. same date, same day. All right, going into most liquid shares. These are the shares of companies listed on the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange, which were bought and sold the most last week. Now, these are liquid as they are easy to convert into cash, as in buy and sell, and so are usually transacted quite a bit in the market. Now, the most liquid shares last week are as follows. At number 1, we had CRDB Bank accounting for 70.5% of the total volume traded for the week. At number 2, we have Tanzania Breweries Limited accounting for 19.0% of the total volume traded for the week. And finally, at number 3, we have National Investments Limited, Nicole accounting for 3.9% of the total volume traded for the week. Now we're moving on into this section where we show the listed companies with their respective price changes according to the sector that they belong in. Now, first things first, we can notice CRDB and DSE share prices increased last week. And remember those results that we saw earlier in company news? Now, these two can be linked together as better performance of the company leads to greater demand of the company shares.
All right. Let us move on to treasury bond trading. And as you can see from the table, the 20-year treasury bonds were traded at premium prices. Treasury bonds are considered to have been transacted at premium prices once they've been bought at a price higher than 100 shillings per unit, because when these bonds mature, the government pays the lender back 100 shillings per every unit, meaning that if you had bought them for more than 100 shillings, you'll have bought them at a loss or an expensive price. The purchase of these bonds at the prices above in turn led to this yield trend. These yields are profits that bondholders get if they bought these bonds at a certain market price. The lower the price you buy a bond for, the higher the yield a bondholder gets, and vice versa. Now, let us move on to the results of the 7-year treasury bond auction. It was undersubscribed by 80.1 billion Tanzanian shillings, and being undersubscribed means that investors came forth with way less money than the government needed. This was largely because the investors in the DSE prefer to invest in longer-term treasury bonds, which offer a higher interest, such as the 20-year and 25-year treasury bonds. The minimum price to go through was 98.0617 Tanzanian shillings. This was a discount price as people were demanding to pay 1.9383% less than the bond's face value, which is 100 Tanzanian shillings. Now, the upcoming treasury bond auctions, and over here we can see the 4 upcoming treasury bond auctions for the rest of the government's financial year ending 2021-2022. Now, let us move on to corporate bonds, where on Thursday, NMB Bank PLC effectively listed the NMB Jasiri bond in the market. This means that investors can now start selling and buying these bonds amongst each other, as it is what the secondary market is there for. The bond has a term of 3 years and a yearly coupon of 8.5%, translating to 2.125% every 3 months or quarterly, and it's subjected to a 10% withholding tax on the interest income. Thank you for choosing A-Trader as your partner to financial freedom. Don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms to keep you updated. Have a great week ahead and karibuni sana.